Hi everybody, welcome to Let's Paint with Victoria Goebel. Today I will be teaching you how to paint this beautiful egret behind me. I know it looks a lot harder than it really is, but don't worry, I will take you step by step to a finished painting. So gather all of your supplies, your snacks, and anything else you think you might need, and let's get busy painting.
So I cut this out on my Cricut machine. I was able to upload an image that I had download from Google, and so I just typed in egret, and I like the shape of this bird. So you can just take this and actually put some carbon paper behind it and trace it on. You can cut this bird out and trace it on. I just made it easy on myself and made this bird off of my Cricut machine, which is awesome. I use it for a lot of my painting classes. It makes it easier when I have a template for my students to use. So this is what I'm going to use to place down on my canvas, and I'm going to hand trace it. I kind of want it off-centered. I don't want it right in the middle of my canvas. I want it off to the side. So I'm going to trace this on, and then I'll take you to the next step. Okay, everybody, let's start with the background of our painting, which is going around the entire outline of our egret. I want to use phthalo green, phthalo blue, ultramarine blue, and medium violet or a purple. So if you don't have, I like using Nova Color. I just really like the quality of this acrylic paint. But you can use whatever you have. If you're a beginner, you'll want to just go ahead and maybe buy all of your paint on sale to get started with, and just see if you even like painting first. And then as you get better, go ahead and spend more on your paint, and you'll notice a huge difference in the quality of your painting. So I've got all of my colors: the purple, the phthalo blue, the ultramarine blue, and the phthalo green. And I also have some white. So what I'm going to do is just take some of this white and mix it in the ultramarine blue, and go ahead and just start putting it down. I'm going to do like a combination of all of these colors. So I'm just going to kind of lay it down in a few places. That color is just so pretty. I never get tired of looking at all of these gorgeous blue tones. I'm going to go ahead and paint around my bird as much as I can. Don't worry if you get out of the lines a little. We're going to come back around and paint the details of our bird later. So we'll go ahead and just work on this. And this will be the first layer of our background. I want to get a nice solid blue color to start off with. So finish this entire piece first, and then I'll show you the next step. So our first layer is down, and it's dry to touch, so it's okay to start laying in some colors. This is just a nice background color to start this painting off with. As you can see, I cut off his foot because his foot is in the water, so I don't really need to be painting around that foot. We get a lot of these egrets. I live in Carlsbad, and we get a lot of these birds where I live because I have all these ponds where I live, and they are just beautiful birds. So I kind of want to make sure that I really make him the focal point of my painting. So I want this to be very muted and soft, and so what I'm going to do is just take a combination of all these colors, mix a little white in each one. So I'll just put, I used up my ultramarine blue, so I put some more on my tray, And I'm just going to go ahead and add some white to all of these and just start laying them down. I don't really have a plan, so I'm just going to go ahead and mix up some of this really pretty phthalo blue. It's kind of an aqua color, and I'm just going to go ahead and start laying colors down in random places. I have no idea how this is going to turn out. I am just having fun laying the colors down. Again, going around my bird. This is all in the background. We're going to have reeds of grass coming up, so I'm not real worried about the background being the focal point. It's nice to add more white in a few places and just have brushy. We don't want to see any going in one direction. Have your paint going in all different directions. So I'm going to go ahead and take these colors and put it in fast motion and show you how I do this. It just going to keep adding and adding colors, and when I feel like stopping, that's when I'm going to stop. So here you have a really pretty soft background using a combination of all of the colors that I suggested. If you want to have maybe a warm sunny day instead of these beautiful cool blue colors, you can do any combination you like. This is really just the background of our painting. I kind of want to stay more focused on the bird and just have this be subtle in the background. This represents water down here. His leg goes right into the water. So I definitely want to have the motion of my strokes go across when it comes to this area down in here. I'm probably going to go ahead later and add some white, but I'll go ahead and do some now just to show you. His reflection would be in this water, so I'm going to go ahead and just randomly put some white strokes in here. Call it done, not do a whole lot because the details come later. Okay, so let's get some of the detail in, and we're going to start with the reeds in the back, all the long pieces of grass that will be going behind the bird. We're not going to do anything in front of it yet because we would have to paint the bird first, then put everything in front of him. So for right now, we're just going to still work on the background. I took out my phthalo green, and I'm actually just putting it on my palette straight. I'm not adding any white to it, but I am adding water to it so that it glides on smoother. A little bit of water goes a long way, and I always use my pinky as a rest when I want to do something where I'm working with straight lines. So I use that pinky as kind of a way to hold my hand still. So with that said, let's just go ahead and get started. I'm using this I'm going to go ahead and go off of the canvas and come all the way down to about here, okay? The water line is right here, but it's basically, I want the water to be more or less like around here. So I'll go ahead and just lengthen this a little bit more. I think that's good right there. So I'm going to go ahead and just have some fun with this. I will just let my fingers just glide along, and I don't want to see my stripes all going in the same direction. They need to be going in all different directions. This is so much fun, this part right here. So let's just keep going. Make sure that whatever you do down here continues all the way to the bottom. Keep in mind that you're, starting where the bird ends right here on the end of his tail and then continuing it down. So the other thing to keep in mind is that you don't want to do it while it's wet and then run it and then go across it. So make sure that after you put a few of these down that you let that dry and then do some more and come over it, okay? You just got to remember the wet paint takes about 5 minutes for it to dry, and then you can come back and work on it some more. So I'll put this in fast motion so you can watch me play with all of this, and then we'll take it to the next step. Okay, so we have our reeds laid down where we want them, and using the same small paintbrush, I'm going to take some of this cad yellow light, put it on next to where my green is, and just add a little of that phthalo green into the yellow. I've got a nice lime color right here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and take this and just hit it in a few places, the ones that are like, you know, really standing out to me. And you know, this is something that's sort of personal. Whatever you feel you wanna add it to, just go ahead and give it a nice stroke. It just gives it some sunlight in a few places. You're not gonna do all of them for sure. You're just gonna do the ones that you want to show up in the front. So I'll go ahead and work on this, and then we're gonna go to the next color. Okay, so I'm gonna stop with this color, and I'm gonna take a little bit of cad orange and mix that with a little bit of this lime green color that I just used. It's kind of making an olive green color. So I'm going to take that and go ahead and just put a few strokes in a few places just to add some contrast and some other warm tones. It's almost, well, you can definitely see that the orangey tones stick out, but it kind of shows that there's some, you know, areas of the plant that are kind of dried out, and we're just gonna do a few of those, not a lot. Just a few strokes just to warm it up in a few places. Very pretty. Just get this more nature looking, more natural. Oh, let's see. I just really don't want a lot of this color, so I'm going to go ahead and stop here. I can always add more later if I want to, but for right now, I think this is good. I think I'm going to stop right there. So lastly, I'm going to take some white, and I'm going to add it to that color that I just made. So it's kind of a light olive green. It's got orange, it's got green, it's got yellow and white. And so I'm just going to keep mixing that till I see a color that I like. Just very kind of a really pretty warm tan color. And I'm just going to hit this in a few places just for highlights. And as you can see, I'm just sort of playing with this. I don't want to overdo. Just a few places would be fun. Again, just adding a little bit more interest, more colors. This is a beginner class, so I don't really want to overload you with showing you too many different colors and everything. I kind of want to keep this as simple as possible. Later on, you can go ahead and put your own spin on everything. Just go ahead and add colors that you feel moved to add. And I think that's just about it. Like I said, I don't want to overdo this. Just a few places. I think that's it. So we're going to stop there, and then we're going to start working on our bird. Okay, so my painting is nice and dry, and I'm ready to actually block in my egret. And so
I am using Payne's Gray. Payne's Gray is anything but gray. It's kind of a navy blue with a little bit of a charcoal tone to it. But I love it for blocking in things. When I paint my succulents, I always start with Payne's Gray. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to fill in this lovely egret with my Payne's Gray, and I'm going to fill it in till it's completely solid, so it'll almost look like the shadow of my bird here. So I want you to just go ahead, take your time. I use a small brush because I really don't want to make any mistakes here. I want to really stay in the lines. If you can't see your pencil mark anymore, just go ahead and take your outline or your template and trace it on again with a pencil. Make sure you press hard so you can see it. So I'm going to go ahead and just fill this in with my Payne's Gray till it's nice and solid, and then I will take you to the next step. So what I'm going to do is work on adding some really pretty colors using the same paint that I used for this entire painting. So I've got phthalo green, I've got the purple, the ultramarine blue, and right now I'm just going to start with the ultramarine blue and add some of the purple to it. And then I'm going to add maybe just a little bit of white to that so that it's not so dark. And I'm just going to go ahead and start, placing really light strokes of paint on the outer part of my egret, and just leaving some of the Payne's Gray showing, but I definitely want to kind of cover up all of the Payne's Gray. And this is the wing right here, so as you can see, you can still see some of it. It's almost giving it a nice feathery look. Yeah, let's see, let's just keep going with this. And the beak's going to be dark, so I'm just going to go ahead and leave that for now. I guess that's about it. I don't want to do too much, because what I want to do next is add some other shades to it. Don't want to just stick with this color and only this color. But as you can see, I've got the motion from my wing right here from that light sketch that I have. And then there's this part right here that's part of the tail. It's separate. So you can see that that's separate right there. So we're going to go ahead and start with another color now.